Welcome back, folks. Middle Management Gamer here, and I know it's been a while, but I'm going to record a game video today. And the one I'm looking at is Hell is Us. And if you haven't heard of it or played it, I feel like it kind of flew under the radar. It came out in September of 2025, so it's still a fairly new game, only about 4 or 5 months old now, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So let's look a little bit into it, shall we?
To uncover the many mysteries surrounding Haidea and your past, you will need to explore the land and solve intricate puzzles to progress. Hell is Us features no map, no quest markers, and no magical compass. Without those artificial aids, it relies on organic exploration. You will have to trust your senses and follow your instincts, guided by the characters and the world around you.
I'm in charge here.
Armed with special weapons and your drone, you'll face the creatures born of the Calamity in intense third-person melee combat. The story also unfolds as you explore the dungeons. Built like old-school challenges, they offer more than just striking locations. Get ready for environmental puzzles and unforgettable fights. Trust your senses, ready your blade, set out for Haidea on September 4, or begin your adventure today if you pre-order.
So that was a description of the video from the point of view of the creative director, and I have to say that he's pretty spot on. Obviously, he's the creative director, so he's biased, but a lot of the points that he made are valid. So let's have a look at it, shall we? Okay, so this is Hell is Us. I've put about 24 hours into it. Third person style, you know. Enemies will attack you, and the camera follows over your shoulder, and you can move around. When you find enemies, you can target on them. It has a Souls-like feel to it, which is what you'll see in the description if you watch or read a review about it. Nothing Souls-like about it. People just throw that term around pretty willy-nilly at this point to talk about a game that is difficult. So as the creative director said, there is no map. There's no way for me to pull up a map and show you how big the area is I'm in. I do have this nice little tablet that I can pull up, and it'll pull up information about, the mission I'm on, information about characters. However, there's no magical compass, like he says. There's no go in this direction type dealio. I'm also playing Ghost of Tsushima right now. Really cool game. I really enjoy it. But as far as what mission you're supposed to be on and what quest you're supposed to be on, there's a lot of hand holding. So you press a button and the wind blows, and you know to go in the direction the wind is blowing. And that's how you find what you're supposed to. And that's fine. That's great if you want to play a game where it takes you from one point to the next, and the enemies are there. You kill the enemies, you repeat, and then you do that until the end of the game. Whereas on this game, I can get into my nice vehicle that I have here, and I have a compatriot who I've unlocked. Who sits in here. She's my guy in a chair. If you've watched Spider-Man or followed the Punisher, Frank Castle has this guy in the chair, and in the new Spider-Man series, he's got his buddy who talks about being his guy in the chair numerous times. And yeah, she's my guy in a chair. So I do have this map, and it's places that I can go. You can zoom in. So you have a general idea where places are in this country, this fictional country that the game takes place in, but it's not really a map. So, and I pull into the village. This is kind of like the starting area of the game. There was a little mountain range where it's kind of like the tutorial part of the game. This is the first real city that you get to. And there's a blacksmith that you have to unlock here so you can upgrade your weapons, and there is a military faction here that kind of give you some quests, but even the quests aren't quests per se. The person will be talking about how they just want to get drunk until the end comes. So you write down, this guy's looking for alcohol, and then like 4 hours later you might come across a bottle of alcohol, and then you take it back to him, and he's like, man, this is only half a bottle of alcohol. So then you got to play for like another 2 hours, and all this time you're like fighting monsters and stuff, and then you'll come across another bottle of alcohol. But as you can see, it's not really an open world map. There's boundaries and stuff that, are going to prevent you from going outside this area, and it's definitely a limited space. The game kind of rewards you for, just running off the beaten path and finding places. Like you might find this little cave here, and you go in, and there might be people in there, and you can talk to them, normally in conversation.
You've saved my life, at least for the moment. We're still no closer to getting out of here.
And after you talk to them, they might tell you that they're looking for a map, or they're looking for some way to get somewhere. And you'll kind of, just try to set a idea in your mind of where this is. So I can look off in the distance and see that's the town I came from over there. And you can pull up your compass. And it'll tell you, all right, so the town is north of here. So if I want to get back here, then I got to go south of the town, and I'll eventually stumble upon it. So it's helpful to have like a notebook or something. There's lots of different weapons you can get. Really, there's only like 4 different classes of weapons, but there's different styles of weapons. So you can apply like anguish to a weapon, or fear to a weapon. It's like kind of like an emotional response or something. And the monsters have those kind of emotional responses built in. So certain weapons are better at fighting certain creatures. Let's see, I have these double-bladed axes here. You can set up your loadout for your character with 2 different types of weapons. Like I said, I think there's 4 different weapon classes. You have like a fast sword, these super fast double axes, a really large great sword, which is really slow but does a lot of damage, and then you have like a spear class, which is fast with range but doesn't do a lot of damage right out. So there's a lot of grinding to collect like materials so that you can upgrade the weapons and make them stronger. And then you also level the weapons by killing enemies. So just finding enemies, running around and grinding them is really key to getting your weapons better and getting the currency to unlock better weapon skills. The enemies don't really have a strong AI, but they will kind of lock onto you, and enemies that have a range attack will use a range attack if you try to get outside of the range to use range attack against them. There is a perfect guard system set up. If you do a perfect guard, you can do like a follow-up attack that does extra damage. There's a healing setup in the game. You notice when I was fighting them, a little ring appeared around me. If you tap a button while that ring is lit up, you'll get life back from fighting. So if you get really good at combat, you don't really have to worry about picking up health items, because you can get it back by fighting enemies and killing them. Again, once you figure out the combat system, it's kind of, repetitious. Not necessarily in a bad way, because each area has specific types of enemies that you're going to run into, and they do, different things. So as you go to a new area, you're going to have to learn to adapt to them. But again, as far as like figuring out where you're supposed to go, what quests you're supposed to do, you have your little iPad here, and it will tell you, good deeds that you're working on. And then obviously you have a very large inventory of things that you've picked up, pieces of paper, diary entries that you can review. And sometimes you might need a password for a computer, and it's hidden in a diary entry that you found in another town really far away. So you have to kind of remember where you've been, what you're doing, what people have said to kind of direct you. So as far as that, very little hand holding. Again, the exploration is very driven by where do you want to go. As you play through the games, you'll get different places you can drive to and then explore. Some of them are hidden behind walls, so it's kind of got a Metroidvania style approach to it where you have to unlock certain things to go back to a place, to unlock certain things to move ahead, to unlock certain things so you can travel back to a place you've already been and get a little bit more. So, again, it's very difficult in that sense. Combat, again, people say Souls like, because you gotta dodge, you have to, use your perfect guard, especially when you're fighting bosses. Um, but all in all, it's a great game. I like what the creative director was trying to do with this one, with the not giving you the map, not giving you the hand holding. But the game really reminds me of this one. Da 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 da! Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2. So, if you've never played Simon's Quest, it's often considered to be one of the worst Castlevania games, um, mainly because it was poorly translated when it came to the United States back in the 80s. And it wasn't linear and straightforward like the first Castlevania was. This was the first of the Castlevania games to kind of start setting up that Metroidvania style gameplay, where you kind of go from area to area and you grind to unlock currency, and you have to walk around and talk to people. And again, no map in this game. So, not that there's a very large amount of places you can go, but you'll get to a place where you can't move any further, and you might not know why. And the person who tells you how to move past that is in a town on the complete other opposite side of the map. And you have to go around and talk to people in the different villages who will tell you stuff. And again, that's where the frustration came from, especially if you played this game back in the 80s when the internet didn't exist and you couldn't just look up anything. You were at the mercy of Nintendo Power. You hope that they released an article on this game to help you with it, which they did. Or you'd have to go to like your Books a Million or Walden's Book, whatever your local book dealer was at that point in time, and hope there was a tips and tricks like book or magazine there that you could look at that would help you. Because at one point you have to like duck down in front of a mountainside with a crystal equipped for a tornado to come pick you up and carry you through the wall. And there's a person who tells you about that in a village, but it's something along the lines of, you have to duck and pray while holding this crystal to find the way. And that's kind of how the game played out. And it really pissed a lot of people off. But I remember really enjoying this game and playing it for hours and just, slowly trying to figure out where everything was. And I figured out a lot of it on my own. But that ducking at the mountainside, I ended up looking that up in a Nintendo Power. And Hell is Us kinda is reminiscent of this for me. Right down to the fact that you'll be in the middle of combat and some enemy will knock you in water and you'll die. And that happens in Hell is Us too. Like there's abilities that you can lock on and use to attack enemies, and you'll miss and you'll fall in water and you'll be dead and it's game over. Or the enemy will hit you and knock you back and you'll fall in the water and it's game over. So, if you like that kind of exploration where nobody's holding your hands, the game is difficult. Not so much because it's giving you impossible enemies where you have to memorize the pattern perfectly and play them like 50 million times. No, this game is difficult because you have to use your brain to figure out these puzzles, to find journal entries, computer entries, scraps of paper, posters that are posted on the walls, and then backtrack to use that information to unlock a computer, to pop a door open so you can move forward. If you like that kind of investigation, those kind of clues, that kind of difficulty curve, with good combat, good weapons, and good growth for your characters, this game's for you. You'll really enjoy it. Hell is Us, like I said, it kind of flew under the radar a little bit. Um, I think it deserves a little bit more love, and you should give it a go. Middle Management Gamer here. Hope you'll join me again in the future. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.